Good evening. Hey, welcome to Paranormal Chat, Lost Lens Foundation Radio. What are you over there laughing about right now?
It's funny because I got the light in the dining room on, and I'm in the parlor room in the hotel, and somebody come by like walking their dog, and they come by and they just kind of look like, "What's that guy doing?" And just start, just kind of slowly looking through the window and just slowly creeping on by the windows and stuff, and
So
I got tickled.
I thought you were gonna have a good story for us about something, maybe some shadow figure walked past you in there or something like that.
Yeah, just that some lady thinking I was a weirdo, probably thinking, "What's this guy doing?" Yeah, I already know where you're gonna go with that.
I'm not going
Yeah.
anywhere with it. I don't have to. Everybody knows where she go anyway. So that's it. Yeah, Norma was walking up the stairs here at the theater. I don't know if it was yesterday. I forget what she told me it was.
Yeah.
Maybe last night, and she said she heard the cat meow, and she thought no big deal, because had a cat. But she walked upstairs, and she heard something like walk upstairs with her, and she got up there, and the other cat was already there, and there was no cat with her. So this must have been one of the ones that passed away that
Oh,
were in the building.
yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, yeah, a friend of mine out at Ashmore the other day was hooking up, helped me with some Wi-Fi stuff in the building. He was actually doing it. I was sitting around watching him, work what he was doing, and
Yeah.
he he needed a little wire so he could reset one of the APs that we had out there, and he couldn't find it. So he said, "I'm gonna go look for it." And so I thought, well, I'll go out to the motorhome see if I can find one. And he yells down and he's like, "Hey, I found it!" And he said, "Did you hear me?" And he heard somebody else yell back to him, and he sent me a text like, "Are you in the building?" I'm like, "No, I'm out in the motorhome." He's like, "Oh, so in the building?" He's like, "Yep, somebody answered me." And then said, he's like, "I don't know, but yeah," he says, "I heard somebody answer me." So yeah, fortunately, he's not too freaked out. He stayed at my building here at the theater before. He's seen something here in the building, so he
Okay.
doesn't get really totally freaked out with stuff. But yeah, it's always
Yeah.
kind of fun when you bring somebody in like that doing things. And
That's probably a good thing he doesn't get freaked out too easily. He probably would have
yeah,
run out of the building after that.
but he did tell me he doesn't like going up on the third floor by the old
Mm.
stairs. And I told him, I said, "Well, we've had other people that had the same situation. They don't like to go up there either. So don't feel you're not the Lone Ranger on that one."
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. So you got Kids Day coming up in less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah, a week from Saturday, Kids Day, we've got for Lost Limbs, and you can still get tickets. We still got tickets available for it, and just basically just you go to our website, and you can
Yeah.
jump in there and grab the underneath the investigations and tours and all. There's a link you can set up. All the money goes to Lost Limbs Foundation, so jump out there. It's going to be it's a smaller crowd than normal. Usually it's sold out by now. I'm usually people are calling me wanting tickets. I'm like, sold out, sorry, but
Yeah.
it's about it's over halfway sold out right now, but
Hmm.
it's a little different this year. I'm not sure. I think personally, I think a lot of people that were wanting to go places the last 2 years that couldn't because of COVID are going to
Yeah.
all those places that now they could go to that they couldn't go to before.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like, this weather's been so crazy too. It's like 71 day and you get snow the next day and then it's 50 and the weather's jumping around so much. So it's craziness.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
kind of it's wild, but you guys been booking investigations there? You're up to like August right now, booking stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, we're into August now with Saturdays. Of course, like Fridays and the other days. Of course, we have some availability and stuff sooner than that. But yeah, as for Saturdays, I think all of them are gone until I'm not sure how far into August we are right now. But anybody that's interested, they can go to the website and check out the calendar and if you see a date you want, then bug Crystal and and get her to get you taken care of and something booked in here.
Now, if you do call Crystal, you'll have to talk a little slower to her because she's a year older now, and probably not moving quite as fast as she was before.
Yeah, and in the hearing that goes after a while, so maybe she might be having some. So speak up.
Yeah, I had to cover for one the other day that came through the Rhodes Hotel site for her that she didn't get to. It's like I guess her cane must have been off to the side and she needed her walker or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Couldn't get there.
She,
Couldn't get to it fast enough to respond, so you had to do it for her, right?
yeah, I had to do it for her. It's like the things you got to do for these kids these days. So
Yeah, I know we're just going to catch all kinds of heat for this once.
she's in bed. We're safe.
Yeah. But when she replays it later on, we're probably going to get messages saying, I heard that.
Oh well,
So,
she wouldn't expect anything different from me at least. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, she would expect it from you. But yeah, and so yeah, that was some of the other things I was gonna mention something too. With how's the house coming along?
it's slower than I want it to be
Slow.
right now. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember you said you're a little behind.
the wind just was horrible last weekend, and we had to kind of quit about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon because it was blowing so bad that I didn't feel safe with putting any more walls up. And so we've got probably a third of the walls up, and
Hmm.
then this weekend looks like crap. So I'm going to probably try to do something on Sunday. Saturday looks like about 70% chance of rain out there, and Friday it's about 50% chance. But I'm usually working solo on Friday out there, so it's hard to
Yeah,
lift 2x6 walls by myself. But I could use a tractor and probably pull them up. And
yeah,
but yeah, so I'll see what Sunday looks like, and then hopefully do something with that. And if not, then I'll go next weekend. And
yeah.
just have to get it up. Once I get a roof on it, everything I'll be good because then I can do a lot of that stuff myself inside. So
That's what I was
I'm
just
just
getting ready to say.
yeah. Once I get it enclosed, I'll be okay. And
Yeah.
so, but it's not getting any younger doesn't help anything. So I don't move quite as fast as I used to. Not that I move
Yeah.
fast at all anyway, but it's
Two
not
speed,
nearly
slow
as
and
fast.
stop, right?
So yeah, not quite that, but yeah, it's not quite that bad, but it's not far from it. So,
Yeah.
but oh well. But, well, I think we got a lot of people in the chat, so I think we got to bring Sarah in and get things going because
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
they're here to talk to her and listen to her. They're not here to talk
Yeah.
to us.
Not hear us like go back and forth talking. So yeah,
Yeah, so let's grab Sarah and bring her in here.
sounds
Hey, there
good.
she is.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
good.
We're doing. Let's get you. There we go. Okay,
Yeah, there.
we're doing
Much
great.
better.
How are you doing? You keep busy?
I'm keeping very busy. It's been a crazy busy time. There's been tons of amazing TV that has come out, and there's been a lot. I'm getting blessed to go to a lot of haunted locations and have some really killer experiences myself.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Busy's
You
good.
got oh yeah. So what's new
Busy's
in your
so
life?
good.
Anything?
What was that?
What's new in your life? Anything?
What's new? Oh my gosh, everything. I'm just like working away and teaching a lot. You guys may know that I have a online program to help psychics and mediums find their way. So there's been a lot of classes lately, and so I've been doing late nights with my students.
Wow.
Have you done a lot of that over the last couple of years, especially with the pandemic and all? That people are doing things at home more.
Yeah, that was my guides came to me right before and was like, "You better get ready. You're gonna need to have this program for people." And I was like, "Sure." So I did it, and then I was like, "Oh, this is why we needed it done this way." Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you said your guides. Yeah, you said your guides. So I got to ask you, it's like how many spirit guides do you have, or is it different ones for different times, or?
So I have two main guides. I have Gillian and I have Mark. And then I have different teachers and things that sit on my team, but usually it's Gillian and Mark that's doing most of the work.
How many classes are we talking? Like
So
what's your average? I mean, like per day or per week, whatever.
I would say right now, and we just this last month I was doing like 3 a week. Animal spirit, learning how to work with your animal spirit guides, totems, and such, which was a great one. And then I teach psychic basics, so how to work with your clairs and how to use them into giving readings, but I also go into card readings and pendulums and your chakra systems, and I teach pretty much everything that's out there, anything except tarot. I don't teach that, but everything but that.
She covered all the bases.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
And those are all on your website then, right?
Yes, all of those are on my website. All the classes that are coming up. Mediumship, Reiki 1 and 2, Kundalini is also being offered right now.
Do you do any classes like that at events and all too that you speak at? No.
Yes, actually, we have the Palmer House coming up, where I'm going to be able to have the opportunity to hang out with Dave Schrader and Mr. Shane, and we're going to be doing actually a whole bunch of classes based on education this time around. Last time we were there, we did a bunch on we did like readings and things like that. This time we're bringing education to everyone.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, if you kind of change up the classes and stuff, because I know, like, you know, some of these events and stuff, you get the people that come in and, you know, the repeat customers, I guess you could say, you know, that come in and stuff. I was wondering if you kind of change up the classes once in a while and just kind of maybe add something that you might not have done, like, you know.
Yeah, no, and I'm constantly open to it. I'm currently working on a children's classes. So for youth, parents that can help their kids define and refine their gifts and things like that. I love doing stuff like that. You know, I really have a passion for it. I've always been one that, you know, it was difficult for me. Hey. It's always been difficult for me when I first started finding anyone that could help me. And my part of my story is that frustration because like I couldn't find anyone for quite a while that was even willing to work with me because they were like, no, if I teach you what I know, you'll steal my business. And I remember being like, but I'm seeing dead people walk through a wall. Like I need some assistance here. Like who do you call? That's not funny, but for real, who do you call? And the thing about it is that I then decided, you know what, I'm going to learn everything I can about metaphysics and the paranormal and all these different things. So that way nobody has to feel like I did ever again. So if people are worried or they don't know what to do, they have this gift, but they don't know what to do with it. And should they do something with it? And, you know, can I talk to dead people? These are scary questions. Like they're great. And of course we want to grow and learn, but a lot of times the questions, they're scary. People are scared of what the abilities they have, believe it or not. Or they're egotistical about it and think, you know, their shit doesn't stink. But either one, you have either one of the spectrum. And I'm there for those that really, really want to work and figure out what their gift is and what it can do for them.
Yeah, Ashley and Terry Ashley's been putting on the kids day at Ashmore that we do for Lost Limbs for quite a few years, and Terry's helped her also, and so she mentioned that she is, you know, glad you're doing a class for kids. And one thing that we do out there, it's like we kind of did this, and the idea was when we started too, is that there's a lot of parents that don't understand when their kids have that imaginary friend, and they freak out over it. And so we kind of try to tell them that it's just that kids see things more so than we do, and you know, try to relax, you know, make them a little more relaxed and all.
And the eyes aren't affixed until they turn 5 years old. So a lot of times kids will see things prior to 5 years old, but once their eyes have done what they need to do, they're not going to see the peripheral as much, and kids aren't going to see as much. And I've had phone calls where I've heard children crying in the background saying, I used to be able to see grandma. Where did grandma go? Well, grandma had been gone for many years, and this child, you know, created a connection with grandma, and now they aren't a medium, and they're growing older, and they're not being able to see the spirit either. So there's some of that happens every once in a while too.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of kids run into that problem too, and I think even adults. I mean, you start off being that medium, and you think everybody sees this stuff, and you don't pay attention because it's just got to be normal.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it's like it's gone. And you're like, you don't see that person over there.
Yep.
It's like, nope. So yeah.
Yep. It can go either way. Absolutely.
How did things happen with you? Like I know, like when you sent me the bio and everything, you said you were like 5 years old once you started kind of realizing you had a gift. Things.
Yeah, I was about 5 years old when I started seeing the shadows change.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of kids have those stories. It's like the shadows turned into people, the shadows turned into things, you know? So I was right around 5 years old when I started. Mr. Shadows used to come and stand with me, and he would stand with me every single night. So I learned how to hold my breath really good, because every time he'd come in, I would pull the blankets over my face and hold my breath, because I don't know why I thought that was going to do anything except make me hyperventilate and breathe even louder. But I just thought if I kept really quiet, he would go away. P.S. He never went away.
We used to have a little girl that lived down from Ashmore that was like 7 years old, and she said that there was a girl that came from Ashmore and visited her or talked to her mom. She'd tell her mom, she's like, yeah, I talked to my friend from Ashmore, and her mom had called me about it. And one time she called me and said, hey, did you guys put Christmas lights up over the weekend? I'm like, yeah, we did. And she's like, well, we were out of town all weekend. And Autumn tells me that her friend from Ashmore came down and said that she likes the Christmas lights that we put up because she can see better at night. And I'm like, okay. It's like I'm getting ratted out by a 5-year-old to a 7-year-old with everything we do in the building.
That's amazing. I
yeah,
dream of going to Ashmore Estates. I cannot wait.
Yeah, we almost had that going the one time. We had this thing scheduled and you had to cancel out on it. So I forget what it was like 3 years ago or something like that. But yeah, we'll have to get that set up again sometime soon.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to get you out here to Rhodes Hotel sometime too.
Oh, I would love it.
Yeah.
Bring a big group.
No doubt.
Yeah, like Laura said, I think that's the problem with a lot of parents. They're just like, you're imagining things and stuff like that. And I think that kind of hurts the kids mentally a little bit too.
I do too. I always explain it like you wouldn't put your child down for being left-handed, right? You wouldn't put your child down for being dyslexic. We're different. We're just different. Like, it's like some kids play piano, some kids see the dead, but like, that's the reality. It's just something. Oh, so sorry, guys. My dogs are back. So sorry. Yeah. So like for me, and I've been in situations, honestly, where children I've contacted or been in contact with children who parents were going to have them exercised. So, I mean, there is, quite a difference of opinion out there with children and gifts.
Do you get a lot of parents contacting you about that, saying, hey, this is going on? Is this normal or whatever?
Yeah.
To where you need to calm them down?
Mm-hmm. And those are always the cases that I go to first, is my kid cases, because I was one of those kids. So I know what it's like when you see people that other people don't see. And I understand how people look at you and how they judge you. And so a lot of times I like to swoop in as fast as I can and really create an opportunity for education for the child and for the parent, so that they can see how normal this truly is. We were born seeing, feeling, hearing, and knowing. I mean, we were born seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing. Just some of us do it with much bigger experiences and maybe through different dimensions.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it probably puts the parents at ease a little bit more too when they find out that it's okay, that they can do that.
Yeah, that they're doing it. A lot of times I'll get, is my kid really seeing it? And I'm like, I trust your child. Yes, I totally trust your child. Your child is seeing. I'm not going to tell a child that they're not seeing what they're telling me they're seeing, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that can do quite a bit of damage. Yeah. For me, I learned that you didn't tell adults things. To be quite honest with you, I learned really quick, because we ended up having a family meeting over the situation, and basically was, told, we don't lie. So, but my mother was much like me. And so she was the one in the family that always kind of pushed me, in different ways. I was I would say 11 years old when I started learning how to do out-of-body experiences, because that's what my mom could do. So I've been doing some of this stuff for a really long time.
Laura mentioned she has 2 sons with autism. Have you noticed that autistic kids may have a little more knack at seeing people and all than others?
Yes, my dad is an autism specialist, and so I grew up around children that experience autism. And one of the things that I always noticed was, like, I could hear their thoughts, and they're extremely telepathic, and they really will tell you, if you listen, exactly what they need or want. The problem about it is not everybody can do what I can do. So allowing them many opportunities of communication is the best you can do with that. But I have truly noticed.
Did you have a point, like when did you get to the point where you would start talking about your gift? I mean, like I know where you're talking about before, everybody's like, oh, you didn't see this or this didn't
Right.
happen or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So my teenagers years were really active. So if I got upset, TVs changed channels. If I got upset, food got thrown out of pans. Like if I got upset, I would feel this energy burst and it would come out and it would throw. I still didn't talk about it. When I got into young adulthood, I still didn't talk about it. I was probably 30 years old. So I'm 45 next year. I was probably into my 30s or late 20s before I came out. And actually a therapist, I went in to see a therapist and I'm like, listen, doc, like something's got to change. And she's like, I don't think I can fix that. I think you're a psychic. And she gave me my first book. Now, it's not like I was dumb to it, but for the first time I admitted that I was psychic. Because it wasn't cool back then there, guys. It really wasn't cool like it is now. It was really uncool to be me.
Yeah, it's changed a whole lot. I mean, with those shows and everything, it's kind of pushed a lot of stuff out there in the open a lot more.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a lot more that are out there now that are admitting they're saying they're psychic, admitting they're psychic, or they are psychic.
Correct.
I'm always very skeptical with so many of them because the ones that I trust are generally the ones that don't tell me they're psychic.
Yep.
When they walk in with their sign hanging, it's like, I'm a psychic. I'm like, yeah, right, sure you are.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. But I've got a couple of friends of mine who I know are psychic, and they'll sit there and say, they'll ask me a question, and it's like, did you bring, one of them was like, did you bring patients back to the Amos building? I'm like, no. She's like, okay. And she'll walk away. I'm like, no, wait, why did you ask that?
Nope.
And she'll like, because I've seen somebody standing over there and all. I said, okay, well, so going in more in depth and all, but yeah, those are the ones that I feel more comfortable with, other than the ones that walk in and want to tell me everything under the sun right to begin with.
Yeah, I don't tend to share. I've never been that way unless a spirit pushes. And I have been pushed to the point where I was either going to throw up or I was going to give the message. So I'm not going to lie. There are times, but anytime that I have to give a message, I give a free 20-minute reading. So if I come up to you and I start the conversation, I'm going to finish it because that's what you do. You don't leave someone hanging. I also don't do it at people's works or jobs unless I'm pressed, because your dad's behind you, blah, 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 blah. They're crying and they have to go back to work. So I try to be very respectful for them. But again, I work for the dead. So if they push, then sometimes I will say something, but I always give a 20-minute reading, which is, it's pretty cool. I'm just like, here you go. And if they want to chat about it, we'll chat about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you have one. Oh, go ahead, Robin.
That's right. No, Marcus had a question here. How do you know what you have? I'm not sure what you actually mean, Marcus. So I just wanted to, just put another message in there in the chat, and they can kind of.
He's asking, how would you know what type of gift you are? If you're a claircog, clairsentient, he's asking how to know his clairs, which is the highest. And a lot of times, Marcus, you're going to notice just the way that you perceive and receive the world. So if you love photos, if you love colors, that's through your eyes. If you love music, it's through your ears. If you have a lot of knowings and you get confused and you sit on things a lot, that's, that's using the knowing part. Feelings, well, there's no question about that. I'm a feeler. And that means that you feel yourself through most of the things, or you actually feel emotions or experiences as you walk into a room. That would suggest that you're connected to clear feeling.
Something I've always thought of is like, you hear this, I've heard this here, in other locations and stuff too, like people will bring it up and talk about, well, if a person was mean in their lifetime, that probably mean, now, but like, I have to wonder, it's like, what if somebody went their entire life and then all of a sudden right before death, they realized, hey, something needs to change, like right before death, and that could change them maybe, afterwards. They wouldn't necessarily be mean then.
No. I don't agree with that, because I think people shift and change energetically. They have to. Their job isn't just done when they're done here. They go on to educate and learn. So they're constantly changing. But as a medium, what they'll tell me is, hey, this is how I was in life. So I'll get a heads up. Okay, I'm going to say some mean stuff. But here's the thing. I'm not like that anymore. And you can let my family know. But for them to understand you're actually talking to me. If I'm sweet as cherries, guess what? They ain't going to believe that you're talking to me, because in life, that's not how I was. So sometimes they'll give me heads up on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. I lost it. I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, wait, there was something else that was going to mention a minute ago, and I just completely just lost it. It was like right there, but because that question was a completely different one I was going to ask a minute ago. Gosh, what was it?
While you're thinking, Mike.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Shelly said something about we need a season 2. So tell us a little bit about you maybe coming up here on TV and all.
So we just finished Ghost Town Terror. It was on at 6. It had 6 separate episodes, and it was quite an experience. It was one of the craziest cases that I've been on. So yeah, a lot of people really seem to enjoy it. I don't know. Did you all see it? Do you guys even watch paranormal TV anymore?
I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list.
Okay.
It's on my list. It's been busy lately, but it's on the list to start binging, because there's a few episodes that's already out now, right?
Yeah, please. Yeah, they're all out now. They're all out now. So let me know what you think.
Oh, they're all out.
Yep, they're all out. Yep. And then this Saturday, I'm on the Portals to Hell that was shot in Georgia, and I fell in love with Georgia when I was there. It's lucky I came home. I almost just decided I was. But I love theaters, and this is one where we look into a theater, and I've always loved old theaters. So going on this case, I have to admit I felt very blessed, because I really love theaters, and I'll go to old theaters any chance I get.
Well, come on over. I built a house inside a theater.
It's pretty cool.
I want one.
We live in a movie theater. So.
Shut up! That is the coolest thing I've ever heard.
So, yeah, we built a 2-story house inside the movie theater years ago.
It's pretty awesome.
That is incredible. That is just incredible. I have big dreams now. Thank you for that. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. And it's haunted.
See, you're just so lucky.
Well, I don't know about lucky necessarily. So we've always had it. It's always been haunted, and we've had some young spirits and some other spirits and all. And then we finally found out also we have a spirit that is not so nice living here with us, but he hasn't bothered me lately. But a guy by the name of John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
it's all.
It's a big deal. Just fine. Leave some crackers. Oh no, that's horrible. Oh my gosh, that's insane and so cool at the same. I mean, see, I think only we say things like this, like, wait, what, who? That's so cool. When most people think, that's a little weird, but I think it's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, especially because there's been 1, 2, 3, at least 3, if not 4 psychic mediums that have picked up on him here and didn't know that the other ones had ever picked up on him.
That's so cool.
So yeah, and it's kind of different. But well, if you get out to Ashmore sometime, I'm 2 hours away from Ashmore Theater, but we'll have you come. I'll pick you up in St. Louis. We'll come up to spend the night here, and then we'll go to Ashmore.
Yes. Yes, please.
Oh yeah, we'll set it up.
You need to go.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
That'd be amazing. I have so many people that would want to come.
So yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah, it'd be a good time. So.
Yep. I remember what I was going to ask.
Yes.
Got it. So, how often do you have times that you will run into someone and be talking to them, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean? You get something. It's just like, you know what? I need to pull this person aside and tell them this, or something you need to explain, or you know what I mean? Just something you need to explain, or whatever it is.
Honestly, everybody that's in my life. Do you mean to people who aren't in my life?
Yeah. I mean, like if you're at events or something. Yeah.
So I will do it sideways. So a lot of times, like I'll be like, hey, I'm picking up this. Or I might say, so do you have a dad? And people always, it's like, but does he live around you? I'll say something like that. And they're like, no, he's crossed. I know, he's standing next to you. And this is what he said. So sometimes I will do be like, do you want this information? But honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
Vegas was my last. Was it my last? It was one of my last Paracons that I did. And what I do is I offer for a tip, you can stand in line and I'll just read. So $1, $2, I don't care what you give me. And I think in Vegas, I did over I would say probably about almost 50 readings within a very short period of time, just giving people. And I love that because it's an opportunity just to share my gift with those that are there instead of just signing up people to sit with me. And I'm like, no, we can't get through that many people. We got to get through more people. So my goal is to get through as many people as possible whenever I'm at one of these Paracons. It's just what I do. Like in a group reading at the Palmer House, I had 32 different groups of 30. I made sure everybody got a reading.
That's awesome.
So it's what I believe in. It's just get the messages out as much as you can.
Yeah.
And sometimes the messages aren't fun. And sometimes I'm serious. Sometimes the messages to us wouldn't, be a big deal either. But I have people come through and say, the burn pile needs to be burned. You need to tell them that the burn pile needs to be burned. So it's your burn pile needs to be burned. And oh yeah, we're getting to it. And I'm like, well, grandpa says it needs to get burnt. So take care of your rubbish.
Yeah.
And when you do the conventions and all, then you're doing those pretty quick like that. They can set up and probably do a longer reading then with you, after you leave the convention. Do you do those on the phone then also?
Oh yeah, I do readings all around the world via Zoom or phone. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of them lately. I've been doing a lot of readings lately.
Did those work out as well over the phone or Zoom as you do in person?
Yep, same. Because the dead come to me. So wherever you are out in the world, you can be there because they're going to come to me. They're going to come into my room. They have to show themselves. And then I start reading them and then they can go back, but they have to come into my room. It's a part of the rule. It's one of my rules. They have to come in and be seen. And I have to be able to give evidence that I'm talking to the right person before we move on.
I say you have to have evidence or give evidence. Does that mean that something that the person you're talking with, not the dead, but the person, your client, so to speak, so that's something that they would understand that, yeah, you are talking to my father, my mother, whoever.
Correct. So if I can't tie those where I'm like, okay, this is how they crossed. Is that correct? Yes. This is how they were in the living. Yes. Boom. Then we can go into the reading. But unless I can say this is what they look like, this is how old they were when they died, this is how many sisters they had. If I can't do that, then I'm not talking to them, which means they need to go because I'm not talking to the right spirit. So,
right. I had a friend of mine who was doing a gallery reading one time, and she had said she was reading somebody, and she told the person, your mom just gave me a message, but I really can't tell you this in front of everybody here. It's oh no, go ahead, it's all right. She's no, really, I don't think I should say this. She's no, it's fine, go ahead and do it. And she's okay, your mom says that you guys would come over to the house and catch her walking around naked all the time. And she's oh my God, that happens so many times. We go over, open the door, my mom would be in there walking around the house naked. It's my husband's oh great, So we had to start calling, tell her to put clothes on, we're coming over.
That's great.
Good time to ask one of my questions. I have two now that I ask, and one of them I was asked, and I was this is a good question. So I'm stealing this question.
Hey.
Okay, so if you could investigate with any three people, alive, dead, or fictional, who would you investigate with?
Oh, no, done. No, easy. So easy. So easy. I would just be a part of the Scooby-Doo van. I would totally 110% be hanging it with Scooby. Yep. Answered. Done.
Come on over. I got the van.
Wilma, I'm telling you, that's who, honestly, yeah, because it's never that scary in the end. So I'm not going to lie. That's why I'm choosing it, is because I'm pulling the mask off of somebody.
Yeah, Jenny, I did steal your question. That was too good of a question not to, right?
It's a great question.
It caught me off guard. Yeah.
No, it's a great question. It does catch you off guard. It does.
Yeah.
I would say it's me and Scooby-Doo all the way.
Good answer. We haven't gotten that one.
They need a medium on their team anyway. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With Shaggy, as much stuff that he's supposedly smoking, I can't imagine he doesn't see spirits.
And plus, they're always going to stop for snacks. They're always going to stop for snacks. So yes, that's what I choose. Yep. The gang. I'm going to be part of the gang. I'm going to be the medium on the gang. Yes, in the gang. Yes. So Laura asks, has Sarah ever found herself working on a missing persons case or with the police in any way? So Ghost of Morgan City was developed around working with police officers in the local area and working on cases. But when it comes to missing person cases, I have worked on a few different cases. And am actually going to be working right alongside a detective here in the next year working on cold cases. It's something that I'm taking on. So yes. And I'm going to grow my gift in that area alongside a detective this year.
That's awesome.
Do you find that they start to take you more serious?
What was that?
Are they taking you more mediums to the whole more serious? Or are they still like, yeah, this isn't right?
So I would, I always teach my students, you have to do it in a very special way because you're saying, what happened in a murder case. So how the heck do you know if you didn't do it? So first of all, that needs to be said. Second of all, you never want to be a hero in a case, because if you're a hero in a case, your face is all over the place. And those people now know who took them to jail. So you have to be really careful with these type of cases. But I have a dear friend who's a detective that's like, I'll take you on. You want to learn? Come on. And I'm like, oh, I want to learn even more. I want to learn more and more. Yeah, if I can find missing people or help certain trades no longer exist, then I'm going to do what I can to make a difference.
Joy wants to know if there's any time you can't read somebody.
It's very rare. It's happened maybe twice, and it's actually happened for a very good reason. I was interviewed to be a co-host of a radio show, a paranormal radio show, where I believe and the other co-host did not believe at all. And so I was like, well, I can read your mom, so let's do it. And then all of a sudden I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And after I quit the radio show, I gave her the reading and it was spot on. So at first I couldn't do it because we were going to be working in a way that wouldn't allow. And then later on, it was like, okay, now your mom says blah, 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 blah. And she was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah. I'm really well known for making people cry. So I used to travel with Ghost Hunter cruises, and we used to take people around the world to paranormal ports. That's how I met Ben Hansen. So we were on the same cruise ship. And I don't even know where I was going with that, but I'm sure it was really important. I looked down and thought about something else, and now it's gone. I need to hang out with Scooby.
Yeah.
I don't know where I just lost that. But I'm sure it was great. Sorry, guys. Lost it completely.
Well, if you get out to Ashmore, we'll have to bring you out in the Scooby-Doo van. We'll bring you out in the Mystery Machine.
That would be amazing. That would be so incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And like Robin said, if he picks you up at the airport like in St. Louis, you can breeze right through and hit the theater up on the way to Ashmore.
Amazing. Yeah, it's really hard, like I said, working on cases, if I may say so, to the comment here that Laura wrote, is that there's many places you have to be careful of. One story I have was a family member contacted me, said, my best friend, this happened to my best friend, and she needs your help. She needs your help. So I did the reading, and I said, there's a truck, and I'm driving my truck. And then I notice there's somebody behind me, and I pull over to get my boat out of the back of my car because I'm going to inflate it and I'm going to go down the river, and then I'm murdered and I'm thrown in the water. And they're like, yes, all of those are yeses. And then all of a sudden I heard his wife's voice in the background and went, shit. I'm like, yeah. Do you guys really need any help here? Because it scared me to death. And I had to figure out what do you do with that when you know who did what they did. It was, it can be real scary.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I love the paranormal. I love metaphysics, and I love being a psychic medium. But I will tell you that, it's people like to explore, and that's okay. But I always say, please be careful, because we're not all psychic mediums. And sometimes you can knock on a door that opens that you can't shut. So it's always be careful. Be careful with who you're working with, what you're doing. Make sure you know who you're talking to. All the please be carefuls.
Right, exactly. All right, so experience at the Palmer House.
So do you guys, have you been to the Palmer House?
I have not.
Okay, this is incredible place. Okay, incredible. So I went to bed late at night, and of course, don't do any research before I go to a location, because it's not fun for me. So like, I love knowing nothing. So I get there, and I get cozied in bed, and I kind of do one of these to go to sleep. It's kind of feeling lonely. And I heard a little girl go, pray. And I opened my eyes, and there's a little spirit girl just sitting right there. And it freaked me out. And she then said, read to me. And I said, what? Read to you? She's like, read to me. And I'm like, okay, there was a kid's room somewhere on this. I remember, but I haven't slept since 4:00 the other morning. Definitely it's been a long time since I've had sleep. So she takes me down to the kids' room, and she says, I want the book with the X. And I said, honey, I'm really tired. Can we just pick a book, please? Because I think I'm losing my right now. And because I'm talking to a little girl, and I really haven't slept. So I really don't know what's going on. And she says, the one with the X, the one with the red X. And I'm like, ugh. So I'm going through the books. I can't find with the red X. I grab a book. I say, this is going to have to do. She goes, okay. And then all of a sudden there's a little boy with her. And so I'm like, great, we're getting more. So we go in, and I sit in my bed, and I open up the book, and it's a book with a red barn. And guess what? It was all the way through the entire book, red and white X's. And she just smiled at me like, see? And I was like, whoa. I'm just having this experience by myself. There's nobody else there. Well, there's the little boy, but he's also a ghost. And I'm like, you just blew my mind. And she goes, it's what you guys do. And I said, what guys? You guys, you read to us. So these spirits had trained, seriously, have got all the paranormal investigators trained to read books all day long, and they love it. So they just, the more books that people read them, they just love that. It was an incredible experience. It really was.
Wow.
Blew my mind. It was like, it was personal, because nobody's out there. Nobody's going to see this, you know what I mean? And I'm just having this moment with these kids, and it was incredible. And then of course we saw, shadow figures everywhere in that place. It was incredible. It was so good.
If Ashley and Terry are still in there someplace listening and all, they'll have to do that at Ashmore. We have a bunch of books out there, and especially with Kids Day this weekend or next weekend coming up. Have to kind of get to a little circle thing with the books and start reading books and see what happens.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or coloring, or just asking them what color they want to be used, and have a medium just listen and use the color that they want to use. Could be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Yeah,
we have shown the Children of the Grave 2, which was done by the Booth brothers. It's an episode. Part of it was from Ashmore Estates. And I have shown that out there before inside the building, and there's all kinds of activity that happens while we're watching that.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I have a strange theory thinking that the spirits in the building might be in that movie.
So
and
someone,
can see themselves.
Yeah.
Because they said that they talk about all the ghosts that they've seen, and they're capturing this on film, that these shadows. So why couldn't those ghosts see themselves on the film?
Without a doubt.
So,
yeah. Wow, that's incredible.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Well, obviously, I mean, the kind of dumb thing to say at the beginning, but how psychics pick up on things, like if someone past might have had a heart attack, or if they had something that happened that passes along to you. Does that linger? I mean, do you have times where you're like, the couple of days later, you're like, am I sick, or am I just still kind of picking up on this? Is it lingering, or what?
I love that you're asking this question, because I don't think it's well known enough. For me, if you've seen me on TV, you know what I go through. It's a physical experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain physical experiences that do linger longer. Heart attacks, not so much. Strokes, not so much. Like there's certain, things like that. But, there's certain things that my physical body, I'm still learning all the types of deaths. And there's many. And my body will show me these like little boop, boop. You got a headache. Now your stomach hurts. Okay. And then you threw up. And then, so a lot of times it's catching all the symptoms of the death, and my spirits always put them in order. So if the person had sinus issues their whole life, I'm going to have sinus issues. And then before dying, they had a heart attack, but they made it. So I get to have that heart attack. And then we go into the heart attack that killed them. So yeah, I think, with certain things, it lasts longer in my physical body. And then all of a sudden it'll be gone and I'll be like, oh, I feel great today. But yes, I do believe that, I don't want to lie. I do believe that some of the stuff lingers.
I've heard that from others as well.
Yeah. Or attributes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really ground down. You have to be careful because sometimes I take on personal attributes.
This
Like I'll get
up with my
night
question.
and eat rice or eat beans and rice and have no idea why I'm wanting to eat it. Well, I didn't want to eat it. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I struggle to ground myself? No. I always make sure I ground myself. And that's not true. Sometimes I forget. You're right. I need to work on grounding. It's a good question. No, I do not have a hard time grounding myself, but it is a hard time as a psychic medium to stay grounded. Because wherever I go, I'm experiencing layerings of, even from houses or places that I walk. Everywhere has energy that's stored and I'm able to read it. So it's kind of like always being in somebody else's audible book. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, do you do any type of private investigations with groups too? Or, I mean, like if somebody calls and needs some help with it, do you do things like that around there too or not?
Yep, I do that too. So if somebody's going through some stuff, a lot of times it's over the phone. And then I'll pass it on to somebody else as long as I've kind of asked the questions to make sure that the family's safe. If the family's safe, then I normally will pass it on to another paranormal or suggest that they go to another paranormal team for what they're looking for, as long as everything's there is okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and ask my other question. So if you could investigate any place in the world, where would you investigate?
Yeah, I think isn't the one that you guys are near is the asylum where the kids were on the top floor? I don't even know what it's called. There's like literally, I think every team has been there, but it has like playground equipment on the top floor. Like
Waverly Hills?
Waverly Hills. Thank you. Sorry. That's the one for me. Okay. That would be it for me. I probably could last 5 minutes in there. Because PS, I still get scared. So, but I would love to go somewhere like that and just sit in its energy.
Okay. Yeah. We get, like, I hear all kinds of different answers to it. That's a good one too.
See, most of the people we probably talked to have been to Waverly, where Sarah hasn't been there, obviously. So,
yeah.
You got to get out, girl.
I know. And I'm trying. This year I have like so many that I'm going to, which I'm so excited because I just want to go and play. I want to connect. I want to do the things.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't have much time to be able to go to Waverly.
Yeah, you have events set up on your website then too, don't you?
I have a what, honey?
Yeah, you have the event set up on your website that people can see you at then, don't you?
Yeah, most of them, and a lot of the stuff, my stuff is on Facebook. So a lot of people are part of the Tribe That Thrives on Facebook. It's a group that I have where I support people with gifts. And so a lot of times I post my stuff in there.
You have to check it out. I'm gonna have to text you too, just to see if we can't find a date that's open that we can work out at Ashmore. I got a couple of dates that I can work with and then play with, so I'll see if we can do that.
Sounds great. I know a lot of people are like, let's go play.
Oh yeah, I got a phone call. I got a message one time from Chip Coffee.
Yes.
And he said call me. I'm like, I don't have your phone number. And he sent me a message back like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because I've never, I don't ask for people's phone numbers." And so he
Right.
sent me his phone number, and I called him up. And I said, "What's up?" He's like, and then the typical chip coffee, I'll cut a bitch voice. I'm so pissed right now. And I said, "What's that have to do with me?" He's like, "Everybody's been to effing Ashmore States but me." I'm like, "Oh, you saw Zappos was going to be out there." So, and so he blew a gas. So we had to bring him out. And anyway, but I know I was going to mention a minute ago too. You said something about carrying things over from, doing the readings and carrying stuff like the heart stuff, things like that. Chad Lindbergh, when he was on Ghost Stalkers, he was out at Ashmore in July of it's been a few years ago, and he came out and it was a typical warm July day out there, and he comes out wrapped in a blanket and everything. I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, "I am just so sick right now." I said, "What's happening?" He's like, "Ever since Ghost Stalkers," he said, "something happens a lot of times when I've been doing deep investigations." And he showed me his back. He was completely covered with hives. And he said, "It takes about a half a day or so a day, and it'll go away and I'll be fine." But he's like, "So I'm just going to have to kind of hang out in the bunkhouse for the rest of the day and all." And he came out that night and he was fine. But he said, "It just happens like that when I did Ghost Stalkers." He said, "It just carries over for me."
Yep. Yeah, there's things that I've noticed that now I pick up and just have to be very careful, or have friends that watch for certain signs. I do. One of my friends, Barry Fitzgerald from Ghost Hunters International, him and I spent 5 years traveling together, and he's one that will check me for certain things and be like, "Why aren't you making eye contact? Why aren't you doing this?" And I'm like, sorry, I really can. I really can. He's like, "Okay, because you're showing some signs." And I'm like, no, I'll look in your eyes. So yeah. Safety first, y'all. That's the truth.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever have you ever had maybe your guides say, "Hey, this is something like with you, maybe like future wise that's come up or something"?
So it's very rarely do I get to talk to my dead friends and loved ones. And I also don't get psychic hits until right before it's going to happen. So the next thing that's supposedly going to happen. So I don't know if you guys know, when COVID hit, I had an aha moment, got on Facebook, posted, "We need masks," right? And I said, and people are like, "What type of masks?" I'm like, "Doctor masks. I need some." And people are like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't know why. I just know we need masks." And this was right before COVID hit the United States. And it's posted, and I have proof that I did it. But I literally said, "I don't know, but everybody's wearing these masks and I need some. And I need them." And one of my friends was like, "Well, I can make you one, I guess." And it was right before it happened. So something like that, where I'm going to be involved, I get to see. But my own personal stuff, like, it's very, 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 very hard for me to trust it. So I'm careful. But if I have a vision, and I'll have these really weird visions, like I know at some point when I move out of this house, it's movers and orange shirts are going to move me out of my house. It's things like that. I know I moved that way, but that's all I know. So rarely do I get the, "Hey, here's the lottery numbers," which really, guys, that would really be helpful.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now,
just type here.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. So very rarely.
That's got to be the proverbial most asked question from psychics, is like, so if you're really a psychic, you should all be rich because you should all have lottery numbers.
Yep. We're cool. We're just not that cool.
Yep. I think that I think it's kind of like one of those deals, like you're not going to be able to get those because that's more of a personal gain situation or something. It's like, no, you can't do that.
And to be honest with you, if I was given them, I wouldn't play them. That's the truth. If I was told the numbers, I might hand them to somebody else, but I would never do that.
Well, if you ever get them, just, feel free to.
Okay, and I know who to send them to. You got it.
I said throw it in there,
Dude, I got you. No worries, okay? For you,
I'm so greedy.
For me, we're not going to do so well.
We could share with, a couple hundred people or something, all the close friends or
there we go.
Family and all that stuff, and set everybody up.
Okay, guys, look me up.
We had a few people that kind of popped in here a little later and all. So TV stuff coming up. What do you have going on?
So right now we just have the Ghost Town of Terror, the 6 episodes, and then of course I hang out this Saturday on the Travel Channel with Katrina and good old Jack at an incredible theater in where did I say that was? Savannah, Georgia.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yep. And that's right now. That's what's pushing ahead. And there's a few more to look out for this upcoming year. So you'll see a lot more of me out there. I'm sure of it.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
So you have a great personality, you know. On the shows, are you a little? You change your personality on the shows because they want you to be a little more reserved and all than you are in real life?
No, dude, this is me all the time. They just cut it out. Like I'm telling you, I don't know how they get around me being crazy because like it's all the time. So like, no, like I am just me all the time, except when you're talking about spooky things, like I'm like, my hackles go up. So I'm like trying to watch and trying to make sense. And yeah, no, I'm always me, babe. I am always me.
So that's the best way to be too.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Yeah. No, I just get scared easy. Like at the Palmer house, I kept going, whoo! And everybody's like, you're the medium. I'm like, that doesn't change that when something dark and spooky runs at you, I'm still going to go, oh,
yeah.
It's happening.
You just might know it's coming a little quicker than some others do. So
yeah, exactly. I'm just getting prepped for everybody else. Yes.
I got a perfect spot to have you go to Ashmore then. I got a perfect spot for you.
I can't wait, actually. Amazing.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't, we got one spot in the building that doesn't like females. So.
Sounds like a place for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun. You know, usually when what's kind of cool with the locations, and Mike's probably ran into some a little bit too, is like when people have experiences, it's basically trying to tell them where I think you were when you had that experience.
Oh, yeah, that's so interesting because you totally forget. Well, I do.
Right. Well, and I've had mediums that come in and tell me that they see somebody standing there, and I'm like, let me explain to you, let me tell you what it looks like, and then you tell me if anybody else seen that. I'm like, no, let me write down what I think you're going to tell me. That way we can validate that I'm not lying to you.
Oh, I love it.
Because most owners will sit there and I shouldn't say most owners, but many owners would sit there and you could tell them there's a pink elephant in the corner with blue dress on. And they're like, yep, people have seen that a lot over there. Yep. And it's like, no, it's the first time it ever happened. But so I like doing it the other way. I like writing down everything that somebody.
I love that. It's a great idea.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy for us to say it.
So.
Yeah, it's easier for us to say. I said it's easier for us to say, oh, you know, just agree. Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. But like you said, I mean, if you put it out there for them before they have a chance to tell you, they're validating their experience.
Yep.
Right.
And then they don't really have another experience because they're focused on that experience. So yeah, I get it.
And yeah, because I'm sure that you run into, it's always nice and you're into things when you validate or people tell you that they're validating what you've just told them that's happened. You know, you're coming through with this, and it's like, okay, good. I'm on the right track. I'm, hitting the right keys and everything like this. So.
Yeah, it's always nice to be validated, but a lot of times I tell people I don't need it. So you can just shake your head or tell me no, because I want to make sure that I stay focused on the reading. So it's not an atta girl until it's all the way done, and then I'll take the atta girl.
Yeah.
So let me pop in here just to, I'm going to put your website up here again because we're kind of running out of time anyway. And
yes,
make sure that people know where to find you. And just got a lot of information on there. Go out there. It's just tons of stuff on there. And make sure you read everything real carefully too, unlike myself. And yeah. It's like the embarrassing moment there. It's like, no, there's no way. But yeah, so make sure you go to their website, read that stuff on there, and pay attention to it, read it closely, and catch up with Sarah on some readings and everything.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's been fun having you on.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. I've been waiting forever. I've been waiting. So thank you.
We finally got you. So
it was great. I had so much fun. Thank you so very much.
No, I appreciate you coming on. It's been great, and
Yay.
it's always fun to talk to you. I mean, we had a blast talking to you up in Duluth, Minnesota. We were up there
it was
all
so much
too.
fun.
So
Yeah.
So, are you going to Michigan Paracon? Have you been asked to come there?
I've never been asked. I would go in a heartbeat. It's just hard.
Brad Blair.
It's what?
We'll have to get Brad Blair. We'll have to get Brad Blair to tell you to get up that way.
I would love to, you guys. I would love to come hang out.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a good time for sure.
So, all righty. Well, we'll let you get off so you can enjoy your evening there and take care of your doggies and all that stuff. So,
thank you, guys.
Oh, right. Thank you. Thanks, glad you came on.
Take care.
Have a great evening.
You too. Right. See you.
Night.
Bye.
Okay. She's always fun to talk to, and she's a blast to hang out with, and we had a chance to go to dinner with her. We were up in Duluth and everything, and and she's just a wild and crazy girl.
Yeah. Yep. I'm glad we got her on there tonight.
Oh yeah. So, well, I guess it's time to get out of here, and you got stuff going on this week at Rhodes. I think you got a group coming in for the
whole weekend is booked. I mean, like literally the entire weekend, like starting Friday evening until Sunday morning, the whole weekend.
So that's great. Yeah, I think we've got. I think we actually have something like that too. I think it's Thursday night until I think maybe not during the. See, we have they go during the day. Not really, but yeah, we got Thursday night. Then we've got Friday night. Ghost Hunt USA is coming in. Saturday night they'll be there as well. So.
Busy
weekend. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, in between raindrops, I might even get a chance to build some.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit.
But oh well. Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna get out of here, and it's been a long day here today anyway, so it's time to wrap that up.
Yeah.
So
thanks everybody for listening, tuning in, watching. Yeah.
And next week we have Scott Tepperman. Coming in, you might know Scott from Ghost Hunts International. He was on that, and so we'll talk to Scott and see what he's up to now, and doing some of his crazy movies and everything. So, that until then, we will talk to everybody next week.
Yep. So, see you guys next week.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Night.
Night.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.